Bruce, when you look at last night again, I know the word desperation was used a lot as far as their side goes, but did you notice anything that they may have done differently in the beginning of the game that kind of tilted the ice in their favor, or was it just a matter of just that desperation?
Well, they broke out a little quicker, maybe not as, when I say quicker, the puck was below their goal line out into the neutral zone quick, not always tape to tape, so there's some foot races there, stretching their wingers out, so that was different than in Dallas. But they started doing that in game 2, and they won a lot of those races and battles and forced us into some turnovers in the neutral zone where we didn't manage the puck well to get back at them, so that's certainly something they did, and I thought they funneled pucks a lot. There wasn't a lot of cycle, whatever. It was going to the net a lot and getting puck recoveries. Their first goal was a good indication of that, good face-off play, but it was going to the net. And those are some things they did well, and it showed in their shot attempts. I mean, they were over 100. I know it's overtime, but that's a lot. They did a good job winning those pucks that they punted out to the neutral zone. So those are a couple things I certainly noticed.
Was it by design to have Carlson not take draws on that line with Hurdle? Is that something you had to do?
Right now it is, yes.
Braden McNabb scored another one last night, and I know within the room he's obviously appreciated, but do you think he's maybe an underappreciated guy outside the room, just league-wide, what he does?
I think so. He's probably one of the more underrated all-around defensemen in the league. I think a lot of our guys got credit last year, rightfully so, after winning the Cup, and he'd certainly be in that category, but how much individually? I think every team would like to have that type of player in their lineup. Guy that can give you offense, can finish some plays, big shot blocker, has a physical presence, and kills penalties. Doesn't need power play time to flex his ozone sort of game, so all his points are typically 5-on-5. So, yeah, I think he is.
Bruce, when the first 30 minutes go the way they did last night in real time as a coach and as a staff, what can you do to try to turn the tide in your team's favor?
Well, we tried before that got to 30. Trust me, Ghosh. I mean, we see what you see, and we have the best seat in the house. So, I mean, at first you're trying to challenge guys and push them a little bit. Now you're patting them on the back and sort of, hey, let's go after a timeout. So you're reverting to a lot of different things vocally. In-game adjustments usually happen between periods. On the fly, you can certainly say, hey, they're rimming out a lot. Our weak side winger can play less in the middle and take away that rim, or D get up in a hurry. So there's always some talking points that happen quickly, but it's loud in there to go through the whole bench and do it individually. It's always easier with a calmer in between periods. Hey, pick two or three things. So, but the players have to recognize it too, right, and raise their urgency level. I mean, they see what's happening as well. So, as I said, it's up to our bench to start pushing one another or getting each other going however they can too.
Those 30 minutes aside, I know you mentioned before that you weren't sure you were getting enough offense 5-on-5, and as the game went on, as you guys started to come along, do you think you're still needing more offense at 5-on-5?
Yes, absolutely. They're a good team defensively, and we are not, with the exception of last night. It was, to me, an aberration of how we play. We can dissect that however way we want. I think it's a product of both sides, but yes, we need more offense. Do we need a whole lot more if we're defending like we did in Dallas? No, because now it's a low event game all around. But last night, if we're going to mismanage pucks like we did, we're going to have to bring more offense if we expect to win.
When did you start building for tomorrow? Did it start last night? Was it, and what's been the process in terms of you addressing and looking at and showing the team things?
Nothing happened last night. I think everyone late night got home, hopefully got a good night's rest. We looked tired on the ice, so that's step one. Step two, we had a meeting today, talked a bit about, we didn't get into the specifics of the game other than it is the time of year you do have to be a little bit selfish with your time as a player. You got your family time and your hockey time, but you got outside influences other than that are, it's playoffs and all of a sudden they're creeping in. So you got to manage that well. We weren't prepared to play, Gary, and I've said this many times, it's a coach's job to do that with the game plan, which needed to be better, but the individual has to prepare to win his races and battles, so they weren't. So let's make sure we correct that for tomorrow. and put this one behind us, but understand what we're up against here and I mean that by the Dallas Stars and how they played last night. So that was what we addressed, and the coaches took a certain groups of position players and went over a couple of things, but we didn't want to hammer them with video today because none of it is positive. And when it gets going on the negatives this time of year, it's not great. So it was more about here's where there was some positives that we showed that, hey, gaps for our D. Okay, let's get up. Good rush team. Let's make sure we're confident with our gaps and our forwards. You have to trust them to reload. So that goes hand in hand. But that'll be more. We'll revisit that a little bit tomorrow morning. So I do believe our guys after last night don't need to be hit over the head, but they need to get their rest today and be better prepared to play tomorrow for their part, and we'll do our part in the morning on game plan. So that's how today went. It's only 1 o'clock, so I don't know how the rest of the day is going to go, but hopefully they sort of enjoy it, get away from the rink, and be recharged for tomorrow.
Hear so many times about players teams being able to turn the page, veteran clubs. How do you handle it? Do you want them to rinse last night or use it as motivation?
Well, I always prefer the latter, so that, that's how you usually get a response. You got pride. You don't want to look like that again. You have to rinse some of it because you can't keep beating them over the head with it. I mean, we weren't good. We acknowledge that. So it's a bit of both. We're going to rinse most of what we did poorly in terms of video. The teaching part becomes a little more of, okay, here's what we need to do better against Dallas, and show some things that we did do better against them. And wouldn't be a lot from last night, but certainly from game 1 and 2. We might even go back to last year. I've done that with almost every one of our meetings, some clips from last year of what could be effective, because they're similar. No two teams are the same, but similar staff, similar players, so their style of play. Things always change, and maybe that gets them in a positive mindset because it went well for us last year.
Hey, Bruce. I'm Nick Kotzenigger from NHL.com. I know you know Emily Benjamin in Boston. She asked me to ask you about Don Sweeney for a story she's doing. Just what did you learn about Don when you worked together in Providence in particular, then later in Boston?
Very driven, motivated hockey guy. One of the most hard-working guys I've been around in the business in terms of seeing players, being involved with the team. I had a really good relationship. Started there because I was a head coach there. He was basically running Providence for Pete Chiarelli. So a lot of interaction. Good guy to bounce ideas off. Nothing but good things to say about Don. He's done a great job in Boston. Was fortunate enough to get promoted there. I'm sure he had a big say in that. So that was a good opportunity for my career individually, and a great organization to work for. So I like my time with Donnie. We were together a long time, so it's not every day you're going to be in agreement, but I think we could always come back to the table with our thoughts and ideas and sort it out and do what's best for the Crest. And that's how I felt my time went there, until it was up. Yeah.
Any new update on Nick Hague by any chance?
Nick's not skating, so we don't anticipate he'll play tomorrow.